Welcome, gamers, to this week's episode of Last Call Gaming. I am Craig Perales. Joining me is Andrew Montemayor. Andrew's been drinking a storm up all day.
God, yeah, right.
Andrew, so let's kind of get into it. The first game on the old docket is Anthem. So Anthem just released on February 22nd. This is the newest game from BioWare. This is the game that had a lot of hype around it, right? Because I remember seeing it back a couple E3s ago when it was coming out, and you saw this guy that was flying around, had this mech suit on him, looked good. I mean, before we get into the actual gameplay of it, how were you originally intending to receive the game, right? Let's get into it before actual hands-on.
I thought it looked really, really cool from before, but after finding out more, maybe kind of the gameplay mechanics, that it's a shoot 'em and loot 'em style game,
Right.
that I was like, I just don't know if it's right for me. So honestly, I don't think I was ever going to jump in. And the only real reason that I did jump in is because I have the EA access. So I get the 10 free hours.
Yeah.
And so I that right there is a perfect example of, a double-sided coin. It could have been a game that I loved, gone out and bought it and kept my progress, which I've done, I think, with Battlefield. That's how I tested out the other Battlefields, and I loved it. But in this case, it just didn't sync with me.
Yeah, because when I was originally looking at it, it was one of the games, because I'm not a big shooter guy. I mean, I'll play them. I enjoy Call of Duties and I enjoy my Halos, but it's not something I do every day. And we're getting in kind of this space to where shooters are like running rampant right now. I feel like they're the big games, especially within this last month. But Anthem was one of those games I had my eye on. Like, I remember looking at it going,
It did look really
like
good.
I could get into this. I could get into this game. Like you, I had the EA pass, so I have my 10 hours. Unlike you, though, I've only got to just barely play this game. And this is following tons of, let's call it negative reviews, because that's kind of what it's getting right now. It's kind of a negative response. I
would say it's mixed, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of
It's
negative,
mixed.
especially if you look for it. And I mean, I personally have my own opinions regardless of anything before I even looked kind of to gauge everybody else's opinions.
Okay, so with that being said, you've got your hands on it. You've got a chance to play it. What is your overall reaction to it? What's your... how are you critiquing it thus far?
For me, if we're going to do pass by weight, I would say probably if it's your kind of game, if you want to loot them and shoot them, it's definitely probably a wait. I personally myself am just going to pass, especially when you have something like The Division 2 coming out next week. It just really didn't click. Like, it looks good. It looks really good. I personally, I love the flying and the moving around. Like, it's not to do with the motion. It's more just to do kind of with what's there. Like, it just didn't click with me. I kind of really didn't care about the story at all. And I had issues with the game when I was playing it.
How far into it are you? How far did you make it into it?
I played like 5 hours out of it, and I mean, that might not even be giving it a fair chance, but with so many other games out there, like, how long... I've never been a big fan of the Final Fantasy 13 saying, it gets good 40 hours in, it gets good 30 hours in, if you don't have me within the first 5... I feel like 5 is a very generous number of time for me to put into a game, that if it's not there for me, thank goodness I didn't buy it. Because if I bought it, I guess I'd be inclined more to see it all the way through. Right. But I'm just done with it.
Well, what are the big... Talk to me about the big cons. Like, what's the big thing that's hit you? Because, again, I'm a guy that's played it just a couple hours. I've passed the beginning kind of tutorial. I did the first mission. After hearing everything that's kind of been going around with it, I'm hearing that it's got a lot of, like, lag to it. It's got a lot of load time. It's got a lot of inventory issues.
Right. Well, here, I'll break down a quick pros and cons, I guess, because I've played it a little bit more. I mean, it's fun to play with other people. Like, that game is my experience with other people. I only played it with full squads of friends, and so, it's just the banter, going around, playing, and... That's really the best part of it. I love the flying around. The flying around feels good. I think the abilities are pretty cool. I like the idea of the game. I feel like it's a game that just got put out maybe too early, that has its issues. Because some people, I don't know what it is, but I really notice, like, the loading screens, like, a lot. Like, I feel like I'm constantly running into a loading screen, and they're long too. It's not like it's like 5 seconds of a loading
Yeah,
screen.
you were saying it's like 2 minutes.
Yeah. One of them I had to wait like 2 minutes. There's literally like a point where I'm talking to someone. I talk to someone, accept the mission, get into my suit, loading screen. I go to this area, kill the enemy, got to go into a cave, loading screen. Get down, watch a cutscene, make my way back out the cave, loading screen.
So it's hard
finish the mission outside, loading screen, and all of this because I'm not like God's gift at gaming. I'm fairly adept at gaming and playing with a group that we kind of know what we're doing. We're running through it. We're not playing on easy. We're on normal, so it's not hard. So it's not like we have to really, especially for the beginning levels. You don't have to sit there and hide behind stuff and watch yourself. You can pretty much just run straight through.
Right.
And so maybe that's part of the issue too, is maybe I'm not waiting until the later game when it is harder and you're having to take your time with enemies, but I'm just like constantly running through these loading screens, and I would just hate to, if everyone died, I got this 5-minute loading screen.
Right. I see my experience, I think, and maybe it's because I got so late into that 10-hour demo, is I didn't notice any of that. And I was reading earlier that they kind of just patched something up today to where it's kind of was supposed to kind of fill those holes that I think you're referencing, because I didn't really notice a big load screen time. I didn't really notice having an issue with going from place to place. So jumping into it, I actually found it quite refreshing. It's a different game, and I think given enough time, because it's definitely something I want to play more of, right? I don't want to just play a couple hours and be like, I'm done with it.
Right enough, yeah.
Because I dug the way. And I'm a guy of simplicity. I didn't mind that the guns were kind of just, I knew what I was getting. I got like my AR, my pistol, my shotgun. So the inventory, I thought, as big as it wasn't complex, I don't think. As a lot of people are kind of complaining about.
I didn't care for the loot either.
No?
Like, to where I found like I liked it more in like Destiny or like the Division. Yeah, I wasn't like a big fan of like the loot. And it's not so much I wasn't getting good stuff. I just felt like nothing I was doing was different than like the previous gun I was getting. And I don't know. I just felt like
so I think
I'm a fan of the illusion of choice. Even in games like, it's not a shoot 'em loot 'em. Like Battlefield 4 has like a million different guns that you can use. Like, I'm sure 4 of them have, if not the same specs, slightly off, but they're skin different and they sound different, and that's enough for me to get that illusion of choice, where I don't feel like it's just repetitive. Or I mean that's not the game's only issues. Like when I played one night. My cousin was, and unless it's supposed to be like this, my cousin was the lobby leader. So we did the mission together. We did everything, went all the way through, ended the mission, got our rewards, and we got off for the night. Then I got on the next day with my friend who had also played who had played with us the night before, and we had to redo the same mission again.
Yeah, that'd be frustrating.
That was just like really annoying.
That'd be a flag.
And it's like, and it was a mission that the one I just described, where where we're running through, hit the cave, and I had like all these loading screens and stuff like that. So just to go through it again, maybe that's what made it kind of more glaring for me, is doing the same thing a second time. And maybe I misunderstood what the game was, but I thought if you played as like a group, whatever you do, as long as you finish it all the way through,
collectively the group gets it.
Yeah. Collectively the group, like Destiny, you guys do whatever, the group gets whatever, and then you go, you talk to your guy. I'm done with the mission. Everyone has their own thing,
Yeah, and I only played it in single player. I mean, I had other people with me, but nobody that I was online actually gaming with. But without talking so much of the cons, how did you like the builds of the actual javelins? Like, what build did you play with, and did you find that fulfilling at least?
I like the Colossus, and I really liked it.
Because I played the Storm, and maybe that's what my click was. I loved, again, I've only played it for a couple hours, but I loved everything he did. Like, the moment he was able to shoot that lightning bolt, and then shoot, like, a frost bolt, and then keep shooting, I was like, dude, that's the type of character
I didn't have a problem with like my guy at all. Like I thought the Colossus was cool because I was pretty much just brick shit house. Because my cousin was the Storm and he got down a few times, and then I was playing with Cameron as well, and I forgot which one he went with, but it wasn't a Colossus either. And so they were taking more damage, and I'm the one running through the enemies. Instead of shooting, I found myself a lot of times just running up and just smashing into the ground and just like Hulk smashing everything around the area.
There you go. Yeah. See, and that looks like half the fun of it. I did want to throw some numbers at you, and let me know if you think it means anything. So Anthem showed that, and this is physical copy sales, right? Not digital. We live in a world where there's a lot of digital going on. But Anthem was a pretty hype game, and it sold, so far, it sold half as many physical copies as Mass Effect Andromeda has so far, from its release in 2017, and it sold a quarter of the sales that Destiny 2 had in 2017. Now, you hear those numbers. Does that reflect anything on maybe the time and, who's buying physical, or does it reflect on the game and it just kind of got passed on?
I mean, I'm sure it's disappointing numbers.
Right,
because, to sell less than a game that's 2 years old, and even still, especially
with all the hype. That's kind of my thing. It's selling less than a game that people might want to buy. Versus Anthem had a lot of buzz around it. Like everyone was kind of going, "Dude, this might be the next big game."
Fresh new IP. Right? It's not Modern Warfare 28.
It's a BioWare game.
I think another thing going maybe into those numbers is like what it could be. I don't know until we get like the full scenario of the situation, but. Let's go back. Battlefront, considered disappointing game. Then the next year, I know a lot of people like Battlefield 5, but that game went on sale really quick, really fast, down to like $30. I personally didn't like Battlefield 5. I thought I go back and I played Battlefield 4 before I played Battlefield 5.
It's just
and again, I wouldn't call it a disappointment. Maybe to the company it might be. I don't, they always have to have crazy sales figures. But I would say maybe like critically, because I do see a lot of people who don't click with it. And now this game too, which was another flagship title, is also just another. I mean, there's people who love it, but it seems like it's more of just like a come and go.
Right.
I don't hear anyone still clamoring for Battlefield 5 or talking about how great Battlefield 5 is. I mean, they still haven't even put out their PUBG mode or anything like that to compete with anything else. And I mean, I'm sure there's other reasons for that, but it's just like three kind of titles that were supposed to be your big flagships that are kind of just at best, I would say, lukewarm received. They're not setting the world on fire.
Do you think now, because I know they kind of launched this kind of roadmap that it has going on into the end of 2019 and 2020 of the patches they're going to do, of kind of everything they're going to add on to it. Do you think if this game fixes its problems and its holes, that it can keep moving forward in a successful way, or has enough damage already been dealt to this thing to where it might just sink after a couple months and no one's going to revisit it?
I think people are still going to play it, and it's a game that's going to live. I just think it missed the thing of this game came out, it's on fire. I'm recommending it to everyone, and you're out of the loop now if you're not playing this game. That's not a game at all. I wouldn't go to someone like, "Oh, did you play Anthem? You got to get it. You got to get this. You got to get," what I mean? It's not one of those games to where I feel like you have to tell someone about it. You want to be playing it with your friends all the time. Recommend it to all your friends so that way you've got all these people that you're playing with and something like that. So I don't think it's out of that, but I'm sure it's going to have a long tail. But at what point is it that how do you accept the fact of give me $60 now, and eventually it'll be a good game?
Yeah, that's a hard pill to swallow. But I mean, so far, even I haven't filled out my 10 hours yet, but I kind of want to at least finish that. Do you plan on finishing the 10?
We may be too early. I may be too early. Again, I've only played 5 hours of it, so it's not like I'm end game content here to where I'm seeing the world. But from what I played so far, it hasn't ignited my heart to want to see the game all the way through.
Right. Yeah. Because that's the other thing I'm hearing down the line is kind of these. The game gets grindy, like in terms of missions and what you have to do to fulfill certain I think challenges.
All games like that kind of do. I think a different point to make would be I had no intentions of buying the Division 2. I didn't play the beta. I kind of skipped it. I was kind of just like, but playing this game made me want to get back into another, shoot 'em, loot 'em. Because I like Destiny. I don't do, like, end game, all the raids, all the DLC. I beat the game, I beat the story, I do some end game stuff, and then, I'm out and on to the next game. So I wanted another experience like that. I wasn't craving one until I played this, and I was so disappointed with it, and I wanted something so much more that I'm just going to get the Division 2 now next week, because I feel like that might be more what I'm...
Up your alley,
do it right, because the first game I enjoyed, I know it had its issues that hopefully by now they've fixed and resolved, and so now I'm buying something I didn't even plan on getting.
There you go, right? So there's a silver lining at the end of it, but it's not for Anthem. Before we move into the next one, where does this kind of land with BioWare, do you think? How big of a hit is this to them that their kind of take on this style of game has been for a lackluster in terms of sales, in terms of review. Is this a big hit for BioWare, or let me put it in two-pronged question: can they recover easily? Which I think the answer is probably yes. And B is, what do they do with their next game? Are they going to fall back on their big titles like a Mass Effect or a Dragon Age and be scared to put out a new IP again and kind of sit back and wait on those franchises?
I definitely see there being another Anthem. I don't know. And see, that's the thing, is I don't know if it's BioWare who just put this game out that just kind of, that looks like it was just, all right, here you go, have at it, or EA, being the big company they are, is just like, come on, we got to get this out now. They're saying it's not ready. Okay, whatever. In 6 months, we can have it fixed. Just get it out on the shelves now, and maybe who knows? Again, and it could be a flawless, perfect game then. But we're not talking about then now. So who knows really what that's going to do? I'm sure it hurts their ego, but I mean, was it their again? Was it their choice to put it out? If it was, then sure. But if it wasn't, and it was EA's, in the back of their head, that was EA saying, let's just get it working. Let's make it go. I mean, in regards to more problems with it, like looking on a Reddit thread earlier, they literally, you can have an end game gun, and this is researching after just trying to gauge everyone else's opinion.
Oh yeah, I think you were saying
there's on Reddit, there's a thread. I don't remember who put it up there, but if you have a masterwork gun, which is like a high end gun, and you have a level 1 weapon, you can probably kill some enemies easier with a level 1 weapon than you can with a masterwork gun.
Yeah, that's
so a gun that's just got nothing special to it, just something you just picked up, could kill something, if not sooner, at least close to the same amount of shots. So something you would think would take you 40 shots to kill with a level 1 item is going to be just the same as like a masterwork weapon. Like, how does that even happen?
Yeah, that's a letdown.
And I obviously it's a bug, but how does something like that just squeak through?
Right. Yeah. Well, it's kind of where BioWare's at right now. Let me ask you this though: if they had to put out another game, whether it be a Mass Effect title or a Dragon Age title, what do you want? Because I don't know if you're a huge fan of.
Honestly, I've never really played either, so I couldn't even say.
Oh, okay. I think I would love them to do another Mass Effect game. They get a lot of shit for Andromeda, but
I tried Andromeda and I didn't like it, so I would just have to say Dragon Age out of because that's the one I haven't tried.
Well, moving past games that are getting kind of left behind, let's move into a game that has now hit a pretty big milestone with Apex Legends. They have now just hit 50 million players, which is, I mean, you're more of the Battle Royale guy. In terms of numbers, like how successful and how exciting is that to hear that a brand new game that has launched on February 4th just hit 50 million?
I mean, I think it's really good for a game that kind of came out of nowhere. It's not a sequel.
Nowhere. Nobody heard it coming.
Well, I guess technically it's not a brand new IP because it's in the Titanfall realm, like it's within the same realm.
Right.
I mean, I think it's great. I personally play it. That's a game I enjoy. I'm not good at it, whereas like, PUBG, I know I'm going to make like top 10 usually, or even like Black Ops I'll make towards the end of this game. I feel like I'll die right at the beginning, but I enjoy getting back in there, and I have a lot of fun playing this game.
Have you looked at it as kind of a new hill to conquer, like a little different from what you're used to?
I was
but it's something new to get really good at.
We were just talking about it with my brother like yesterday. We kept playing over and over and over. Me, my brother, and my cousin, and we were dying. A couple minutes closer to the end, but we were just getting our ass kicked, but we were just having fun. That we're like, okay, I want to get better at this game. This is a game. Like they played it, they loved it. They told me to download it. I told my brother to download it. He told my other cousin to download it. So it's kind of we kind of went around this circle. I was one of the third ones to download out of the list, but again, it's a game that we liked, and we just told each other download to play. And for something that's free, why not?
Yeah, that's.
I mean, as far as setting the world on fire, 50 million players, is that concurrent users that are playing every day? I mean, 50 million users still, that's really good for a game like that came out that's free. I mean, even still 50 million people that just decided, hey, I'm going to download this, it's free, I'll at least give it a try one time. It's 50 million people who tested your game.
Yeah, that's kind of how it grabbed me, because you were the one that kind of got me back into playing Titanfall, because I kind of put that on the shelf for a while. And then out of nowhere, literally the same week, I'm playing Titanfall 1, and I was about to dabble in 2. Apex kind of came out of nowhere. So I was like, oh, cool. This kind of fits in. But it definitely hit me as one of those games where I'm like, I don't play Battle Royales, but looking at it, watching it being played, it looked like something that would take someone like me and get it into it. And I played it, and it's actually really good for what I could gather a battle royale game should be. You know, I like the concept that there's these heroes, and I get to pick a character that I get to play with.
I feel like it's a good mix of maybe colorful and stylish-ish.
I like that too. That draws me out. I like the aesthetic of everything.
Yeah, it's not just some bland character or whatever. Like, they have their own special, but it's like Overwatch and maybe like PUBG or, you know, Fortnite or something like that. It's just, you know, the battle royale with, I would say, the Overwatch aesthetics.
Well, now, because the number that some people were kicking around was that, so it's at 50 million, and this is within its first month. And now they're kind of, you know, comparing it to Fortnite, which is, you know, the still biggest one. They're saying they had 200 million but it took them over a year to gather. So 50 million in their first month is a pretty big number. So with that being said, and after, you know, you've played it, I've played it, as a guy that doesn't play battle royales, I found it enjoyable. The funny thing is, there's a couple people that I see on my players list, and I see some guys that I know don't ever play battle royals, and I see them playing Apex Legends. So I'm like, it's definitely hooking that
people
group
that
of
are
people,
just dabbling,
exactly, that we're never gonna do it. So, and that was kind of the argument. Is like, can this game last? And I think it can last.
I think it's going to last. I don't know if it'll pass Fortnite, because Fortnite.
Oh, probably not.
Everybody and their mom has it, and it's not even just the game itself. Like, that game transcends itself,
right?
Because then you have like kids doing it, knowing all the dances. My little brother's wearing, you know, shirts that say "floss like a boss" and knows how to do every little dance and all that jazz.
Yeah, but that was one of the things though. Like DeAndre's kid, he wanted Fortnite toys and all kinds of stuff. But as soon as Apex Legends came out, I don't know if it was his birthday or future Christmas gift. He's like, no, don't give me that anymore. I want Apex Legends stuff, and give me his shit for that. So,
well, I'd say he's a little bit older too, so he's about that age where I think like a younger audience. Because I would say Apex is more difficult, and not saying like Fortnite's easy. Like, I can't build for hell on that game. You know, I'm not that game. I'm not good at, but you can. I would say it's still harder to play. Apex has a lot more mechanics to it, and it's hard to build and stuff like that. In Fortnite, I would just say one is like a different tier of hard than the other. I don't think my little brothers could pick it up and really kind of understand Apex in a way where they know here to build this, to build that. They might understand people's abilities and stuff like that, but maybe not.
But even after enough trial and error, you don't think it's a pretty,
I mean, maybe I think they could, but I don't think it would be as fast as, okay, I'm building a wall, I'm defending myself now I'm building up, and because then it gets past the point of like, okay, I'm not just building anymore now. How quick am I building? Am I building while you're fighting someone else? Am I building at the same time? Versus, you know, utilizing what character is going to be best working as a team. It's not you by yourself.
Right.
So if two other people are going somewhere else, I want to go this. How is my ability now going to help my team versus, okay, I've got the better gun, or I've only got long range guns, so I should stay back maybe a little bit further than my two friends who have shotguns or automatic weapons. You know, it's a more base system than, am I going to throw out a portal that my friends could now use? Where is it going to come to? Do I throw out the health drone and let everyone heal now? You know, it's a different.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. And that's. I mean, I guess that's kind of what separates one from the next, right? What draws you one.
That's what's refreshing, and that's why you can jump in between. Like, you know, I still play PUBG, but when after we're winning or losing or whatever on that, we'll jump to Black Ops, and then we'll jump to Overwatch, and, you know, or not Overwatch, Apex.
Right.
We'll jump between the three on top of other games on the side, but, you know, we'll jump between the Battle Royale games.
So with Apex kind of in the mix now, and kind of more to my point earlier was, it's bringing in kind of that group that you don't normally see playing a Battle Royale on top of the group that is playing a Battle Royale, because it's getting solid reviews. I mean, there's nothing, you know, I don't think any negative response out there. So in terms of longevity, do you think Apex stands to be kind of the, I don't want to say the top guy of 2019, but do you think it's going to at least make it to the 2019 as maybe one of the top three competitors?
For sure. I mean,
what's coming out? What's the Firefight, or what's the one coming out?
Firewatch for Battlefield.
That's still coming out, right? And that's an EA.
Who knows
game,
if that's coming
right?
out?
Okay, because that's another one that's going to get its kind of hat tossed in the ring, and it's going to be, well, how do all these games survive on each other when there's, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8 battle royals? But
it's just by being different much. I mean, I could see Apex being different enough to where that game's for sure just going to kind of, unless they massively screw something up, I could see them cruising. But then again, I mean, who knows? You know, games fall from grace all the time. You know, that could just be a game that maybe it started off hot and they just don't add anything different over time, and so less and less people just keep playing it and go on to the next experience. You know,
Yeah.
like I'm the kind of person that moves on from one experience to another.
Well, when you played it, because I played it, and I don't know much about battle royales to know the big differences. But I mean, how the maps working on that game compared to like a PUBG? Does the map layout with Apex, does it hold up? Because I'm told that's almost kind of the weakest aspect. It's not a bit like there's not a lot of different things to kind of
I would say, well, I
jump around and play with or master because they're so big on such a small scale of.
I like the way the map looks, but yeah, I feel like it is kind of bland compared to something. I guess people think PUBG is bland. You know, you're fighting in like a school and stuff like that. But I don't know. I find myself in Apex more hiding around the buildings versus actually like running through them and stuff. Whereas like PUBG, I'm like going to the third floor of a school or the third floor of a building, peeking out this window and trying to take my shots versus maybe just a 1 or 2 story like little shack looking building or some weird awkward base on the edge of a map or something like that. So I guess if I had to pick a weak point, yeah, that would probably be it. But I mean, it's not enough to be like, oh, that release another map and your problem solved.
Gotcha. So I think you kind of said it earlier with the on the PB Dubs, the pass by wait game.
Buy it; it's free.
Well,
at least throw your hat in the ring. See, what's worse that can happen.
Let's use buy in terms of currency of time. Do you want to invest? How much is it a game worth investing your time into to develop a skill at it and maybe kind of be a game that you pass between, like when you're playing a PUBG, you bounce to another one?
If that's the kind of game you're into, I think it's fun as long as you have other people to play with.
So it's definitely worth keep going and not a sleeper, all right?
Yeah, no, I would definitely say at least download it. It wouldn't hurt you to try it and see if it's if it suits you. Then go ahead and definitely give it its time.
And then in terms of Anthem, before we move on from Anthem, I think you said waiting early. You'd wait on the game, right? It's not everything it should be.
It's wait or it pass. It's definitely not a buy for me. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think I'd give Anthem a solid wait unless the flying mechanic and that HUD world just isn't exactly what you want. Yeah, I'd say wait, and then definitely Apex is I'd say invest. That looks like a game that's gonna just keep growing, especially if the numbers are showing us anything that it can do and potentially will be.
Right.
So with that being said, Andrew, let's move into the next one. The big news that has been on a lot of stories is that Microsoft is in talks with Nintendo to bring over, and this is all rumor, it's all hearsay. I don't think nothing's been confirmed, but they want to move the Game Pass / the Xbox Live, interface OS system to Nintendo Switch. You hear that? What is your reaction to that? What are your thoughts? How does that make sense? How do you compute that?
I don't know. It's kind of weird switchuation. It's weird. It's a weird switchuation.
You heard it here. We got a switchuation on our
That's
hands.
A trademark term now.
I love that.
It's a weird switchuation where, like, I mean, they could, Nintendo has everything to gain from something like that. Just a game. Whether or not it's a Game Pass, who knows? They said they're working on something.
I think that would make the most sense, though, right?
They already have some version, I think, of Xbox Live on there, if I'm not mistaken, for Minecraft. Like, that's the way you have to do the Minecraft. Or maybe it's another game or something like that.
I think they're all set up in a way that where Microsoft runs that.
You have to sign into Xbox Live somehow in order to cross-play the game.
This would be a whole different setup. This would be you're turning on your Switch and you're seeing
the Game Pass is
Microsoft.
The Game Pass is a stellar deal. Say there's a million different games to play on there. There's all kinds of different stuff, and there's something on there for everybody. It's cheap. It's not expensive, and if you could play some of those games on the go, hell, why not? That's a stellar deal. Why not do something like that? I'm not crazy. It's not that I'm crazy about it. I just really want to see how it's going to work. And then that makes me kind of think more is like, what's Microsoft's mindset in a way? Because they've already, for the term, like lost the generation where the stuff they've been putting out, not setting the world on fire either. Crackdown 3 came and went. No one's kind of really talking about it. There's people who enjoyed it. I'm sure there's people who loved it, but it's not, it's not a critical darling or anything like that. So, and what else do they really have in the horizon besides Halo Infinite? But again, that's a game that's also Halo, Gears of War. What else do they have going on where Sony has all these other things? So is your time more pressed saying, am I going to put all my games on all these other consoles? Or is this just a one-off thing we do. And we'll have to wait till E3. We've got more to show you. There's going to be stuff that's dedicated for us. Otherwise, if they're just going to put Xbox Live on every little console, PC, whatever, what's the point of buying an Xbox?
Yeah, see, I look at it way differently, man. I look at it in terms of where if Microsoft can partner with Nintendo and let's just say just use the Game Pass and my sign in my Xbox Live on Nintendo, I think that just kind of completely changes the game, but it still makes both of them unique in terms of being where I can now take my Xbox games, right, anything on the Game Pass, and I can now play it on the Switch, and I can do that. The interesting thing is going to be if Nintendo's going to allow Microsoft any type of leeway in terms of their games, which that's kind of seems like it's going to be a no. But, I mean, if you can take a game, like half the games that are on that Game Pass are not games that anyone's clamoring for. You know, there's a couple of these big drops like all the Tomb Raiders are on there now, you know, the Darksider games, all that stuff. You can play on the Switch, and that'd be awesome. But I think what they're really trying to push is just that subscription. I mean, that $10 subscription on there, but I mean, just helps out everybody. I mean, that just ranks up how awesome the Game Pass would be, especially if it's cross-platform like that.
But again, like I said, that's why I'm just wary of
I don't think I don't know what it takes away from not owning an Xbox. I mean, you're still going to get your day one exclusive.
If you put it on Switch and then, let's say they put it on PlayStation, you put it on PC and you can play Halo.
Just the Game Pass, though, at this point. And this is speculation. If it's just the Game Pass.
Well, yeah, it will. A lot of games that are on Crackdown 3... Day one, day and date was on the Game Pass.
But I don't think anyone's buying an Xbox One to get a Game Pass. No, I mean that's not a console seller.
No, but these big exclusives that are your games, though, if they come to Game Pass day and date, are they going to be on these other consoles day and date? Crackdown 3, would that have been day and date on Switch, day and date on PC? Why buy an Xbox? If Halo Infinite...
Yeah, but look how many more hands it's getting into now. Look how many more people are going to play this game and give it
they're going to play it on another console, and then why buy an Xbox? Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting thing.
That's what I say. It could go both. I really got to see like where it's going to go, because it's all speculation, but I mean, that's my idea of thinking of it, you know?
The other thing is, let's say they did, and obviously the first out the gate would never be, you know, they're going to get the virtual console. Do you think they ever would get a virtual console of Nintendo games on an Xbox? Because that's kind of the big curveball that I'm more looking at in terms of what, instead of, you know, Microsoft Xbox games being on the Switch, are we ever going to see Nintendo games on an Xbox? And that would be kind of more to the point of, now why would I want to buy a Switch when I can get my Nintendo games on an Xbox?
Which is exactly why I don't see Nintendo doing that, because I don't think they're that kind of company. They're not. They want games in people's hands, but they're not out here doing stuff like that, you know, to make sure that it's getting there. Whereas Microsoft, it seems like they're kind of willing to do anything to get it out there, you know?
Right. Where do you think this kind of puts Sony, though? If the two big competitors, I mean, really the only competitors it has, are kind of semi-forming an alliance and kind of teaming up. Where does this kind of put Sony in that mix? Or are they fine? They're kind of going to go, hey...
they're fine. I mean, they're in the lead. They have nothing to worry about. Realistically, what does Sony have to worry about if that did come to Switch? Like, people are playing Xbox Live games on Switch. They're not buying Xboxes, so how does that hurt them? They're not buying Switches for the Game Pass. They're just people who have Switches are getting the Game Pass. You know, either way, it's not detrimental to them.
Yeah, I'm curious of how they would move forward, though. But I wonder if this opens the gates more in terms of more like crossplay. Like are we gonna get more games that they can all three kind of agree on outside of Minecraft and like DC Universe Online? So where we get more of these games that all three, you know, console users can kind of jump on and play. And
I guess, I mean,
clearly
it
opens the gates in that direction.
It depends on the game. Like, I don't think you'll be able to play like Call of Duty on Switch and Xbox.
And I wouldn't see anything like that.
But I mean, if you're playing like a Final Fantasy Online or something like that, then sure. But I mean, how many? I'm sure there's millions of players, but that's not where the real online market is. The real online market is all the like shooters, you know.
Yeah, and that is kind of a big thing. Well, I mean, what would you do though in terms of, or do you think they would do this if? Because I'm curious, if my whole game style would change if I could start playing my Xbox games on my Switch, right? Still unlocking achievements, but then now my Nintendo games are now like if I could play Mario Odyssey, you know, for lack of a better title, if that could start popping achievements, would that kind of give you an incentive to, if as an Xbox owner, to get a Nintendo Switch? If you could start going, oh, now I want to play Zelda because now it'll click with my my profile,
I guess maybe,
and I can start adding achievements. Because that's a highlight. That's gotta be.
Yeah, I kind of am an achievement hunter, so I think maybe that would. I don't think I'd go out and buy a Switch for it, but I mean that would definitely be a hit in the right direction for me.
Now, you don't think that would be an incentive to buy a Switch? Would be to add
go out and buy a Switch to play Zelda and get achievements on it.
That's interesting though, because Zelda is a that
I don't have a Switch now because I just don't want.
Because you don't want to move from your Xbox. You want to keep unlocking those achievements. I know what kind of guy you are.
No, I just like being in my one spot on one thing, and I just like my little spot.
All right. So overall, good idea, bad idea. You think this move so far, in the generalist of terms and pure speculation of if we're talking about it, Xbox game. Let's just use it as the Game Pass. We won't even say anything more than that. This is the Xbox Game Pass on the Nintendo Switch. Do you think that's a good / healthy idea for the gaming ecosystem?
Up in the air? It's good for the ecosystem. Is it good for Microsoft? I don't know.
Okay, because I'm putting.
I would say for the ecosystem, because the only people who win are gamers.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I don't know how everyone's not going nuts and just wanting this. Like, I can't imagine. I want them to. It's weird to look at Xbox in terms of like a subscription, right? Because the best way to kind of compare it is the Game Pass is like a Netflix now, right? Like, let's take Xbox out of it. The Game Pass is a subscription that gets me all of this. Now, if I'm simply taking that and I can put it on my Switch, and that's, let's just say, in bottom terms, that's all the transaction is between Microsoft and them for now, is just that. I mean, I don't know how. I mean, it doesn't help anybody on the Xbox side because well, no, I'm lying, because now you can jump online and you can play with anybody that has the Switch, and then also anybody that's on the Switch, your library just shot up 180 games. I mean,
okay, so yeah, everything you're naming though is positives for the Switch,
right? But now let's say, because I know people that only own the Switch, and I have an Xbox, but because one of the main reasons to make Xbox the best is your headset, your online experience is the best. If that's now going to be transferred over to if that kind of moves over with the Game Pass on the Switch, I mean, that's a win too, wouldn't it be?
Yeah, for the Switch, not for Xbox.
Wait, now you can be playing with more people that you normally wouldn't play that are stuck in a Nintendo-based.
You're looking at it from like a gamer's perspective, though. I'm talking about from like,
not?
Because I'm looking at it from a business perspective.
Well, the business is going to be Xbox sells subscriptions.
Now, Xbox sells subscriptions,
right? And if every Nintendo person, if every party on the Switch bought the $10 Game Pass, Microsoft's Game Pass subscribers just shoots the fuck up. And how's that only a win for Nintendo? That doesn't do anything for Nintendo.
If all these games are on the Switch, then how is Xbox selling consoles?
That's what I'm saying though. That's not a console seller. That is a subscription that now
it could be a console seller for people. How many people would buy an Xbox just to get this set of okay, not even that. So it's more that the big Xbox games, like say like Crackdown or whatever the next game may be. Let's say it was what's the time one? I can't even.
Quantum Break.
Quantum Break 2. That game, if it comes out for Xbox, day and date Game Pass. Halo, day and date Game Pass. Next Gears of War, day and date Game Pass. I want to say State of Decay 2 was a day and date.
I think it was
Game Pass. So all these games are day and date Game Pass, right?
Right.
So if they're on the Game Pass and they're now on the Switch and they're on, let's say, PC for the Game Pass, then why buy an Xbox at all?
Yeah, but you're looking at like a handful of 10 titles, and all those 10 titles are keeping Game Pass members happy.
So what other games are going to be on? That's what I'm saying.
Well, we'll see. I mean, that conversation is when more stuff starts coming out. But
that's what I'm saying. It's like, what other games are going to be if the exclusives are already everywhere else? What other games are going to be on Xbox? And someone's going to say, I want to buy an Xbox, when I could just buy a PS4 and a Switch and play all the Xbox exclusive.
Right. I'm only looking at it in terms of you saying only Nintendo gains from this, when Microsoft is going to gain by the whole player base of Nintendo. If half of them subscribe for the Game Pass, Microsoft is going to win on this too. I mean, I look at it as a win-win situation in terms of who's getting the better deal. That's for debate. That's kind of
does Microsoft get the better deal if I'm a new gamer and I'm like, oh, you know what, that Game Pass is sick? I'll buy a Switch and then I'll just play my PS4 for the other games that
I would have 100%. If I was always someone that was hesitant on buying an Xbox and I could buy a Switch now and get every Nintendo game plus 150 Xbox games and only a handful of those exclusives, not every.
Okay, so if you don't have a console right now, you don't have a console at all. and the Game Pass was on everything else. It was on
It's on
Xbox. It was on Switch.
Let's only use it in terms of Nintendo.
On Xbox and on Switch.
Why wouldn't you buy a Switch?
I'm not asking that. What 2 consoles would you buy? If you had money to buy 2 consoles, what would you buy?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like, how would I split it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Why would you buy an Xbox? You would buy a PS4 and you would buy a Switch. That's my argument that I'm making. And not saying it's a bad argument. Gamers win no matter what. I just am really curious as to see how that business deal then shakes out.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. It's what falls from this tree, because it's just...
That's what I'm saying. So when you think about it that way, that's a completely different conversation.
Yeah, if you're looking at it in terms of, I'm going to go buy 2 systems today, and what can I get? Am I going to get the one that has a healthy amount of Xbox titles versus Sony that has its solid exclusives?
Yeah, I'm going to get the Sony, then I'm going to get my Nintendo stuff that also has all the Xbox stuff.
Yeah, it's a very interesting point, but I still don't see a downside for anybody that's has a Switch like I do, who still owns an Xbox. Yeah, because I take my Switch
that's
when I
what
go
I'm
to
saying.
work.
There is no downside. I'm just saying for just new customers going forward, people who don't have a console.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be crazy, and we're gonna see how this shakes out. But the real question, guys, is what do you think? I mean, we can argue about it all day, but the Game Pass or Xbox Live on a Nintendo Switch, I mean, what do you think? Where does that go? What doors does that open? Because that's really the next conversation in the gen going forward is going to be, well, if they're already hinting at this, like, what's the next icebreaker? What's the next thing that's going to be mind-blowing? Because that is, for all intents and purposes, that's mind-blowing. That is...
It's
crazy. Whoever would have thought... I mean, these guys are cutthroat in terms of the console wars are a console war because it's a thing. This guy wants to be this guy, wants to be this guy. You have 2 now that are potentially somewhat teaming up. I mean, that just changes the game. I mean... Because imagine if, like, a Sega would make a Sega Pass or something like that and start putting that somewhere.
I don't know. I just hope they bring back those ads that are like, Gen is what, like, Nintendo is and stuff like that.
If they brought something like that,
I just want to see some more of those ads.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I couldn't even think of what kind of tagline they would bring on that. But, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, guys. Comment. Let us know what you think, because it's a conversation I want to have with everybody. But... while we move on, staying with that Nintendo...
Back to the Switch.
Back to the Switchuation. We got a real Switchuation here. They also just released their new titles for their new Pokemon games. This is going to be Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. So they're finally kind of moving away from a color in terms of, blue,
well, I guess they did.
Red. They did diamond and
well, I guess if you count gold and silver as the elements and not the color, but...
Hey, there's a Crayola crown called gold. So out of the color, there's no Sword and Shield color. So it's refreshing that they're kind of changing directions. But
you haven't heard of Silver Sword and
Gray Shield? I can't wait till that comes out. Sharp. It's gonna be the next one's gonna be Sharp Sword and Hard Shield, and those are gonna be the remastered versions of it. But Andrew, the question is, because we just watched those trailers again. This is going to be the first official Pokemon game the way we originally know it from the Game Boy.
That's on a main
on a console. On a console. I mean, you can take the Switch and play it as a handheld, but it's on a console.
Well, not counting Pokemon Let's Go.
Like I said, on the Game Boy. Yeah. Like the Let's Go is a whole new series that they did, which so it was the fastest selling Nintendo Switch game when it released. But that was a hybrid kind of what they did with the Pokemon Go app versus kind of combined with the game. So I wouldn't really kind of put it in the same stable, even though it's in the same franchise. But so these are our first games where we're getting 2 titles split, like the traditional way. The question I had, me and you were talking about it earlier, is there's no announcement for a handheld version, right? So this will be the first game so far that it's not on a traditional Game Boy system,
right?
Is that the move to make? I mean, Pokemon sells.
Oh yeah, no, I think that would sell Switches for sure. I mean, I'm already kind of locked. I don't have a Switch personally right now, and I think I'm locked in for Link's Awakening because that's my all-time favorite game of all time.
That trailer looks so good.
I'm in love. That's my favorite game of all time, and just to get these Pokemon games on top of it, I think would be really, really cool.
What did you think when you saw the trailer? I mean,
I actually really liked it. I don't know what I was expecting. Kind of, but I wasn't expecting that, and I really like the way that it looks.
Oh man, I thought it looked gorgeous. I thought it looked really good because because I take my Switch when I go to work, and when I'm playing it, because I beat almost all of Mario Odyssey on the Switch, right, on the handheld, and it looked great. But the moment I brought it home and put it on my dock, and like, because I never played it on my high def 55-inch TV, when I finally played it, it looked way better, like any game should on a console. But I would love to finally play a Pokemon game on outside of the Super Game Boy back in the day, on a console in my house, sitting in a chair, playing it, and just waste hours of my life doing it. And I think this game looks like it's going to be...
I like it. I think it looks cool. I like that it's not like crazy over the top. Like, it looks really good. I like that it's not... Like, I know a lot of people really are like craving like Skyrim, but like Pokemon. And that's too much for me. I prefer like I'm running through the grass and I randomly run into a Pokemon and stuff like that. Like, I think that's...
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like, in terms of a Elder Scroll-esque adventure Pokemon versus
where I'm just seeing random Pokemon and now I'm running at them and doing my thing and initiating. Like Final Fantasy 12, like you just see things roaming and then you kind of run in that direction and do whatever.
No, I'm perfectly comfortable with the way they're doing it now.
Yeah, no, I think it looks great. Of course, there's gonna be another Pokemon for.
Do you think there's gonna be one on the handheld?
For hand, I'm sure they'll wait probably like maybe a.
Well, I mean, you think a year?
Probably, because I mean, why not put this one out this year, then put out the next one next year, or
are they gonna
6 months after release?
Is the handheld gonna be this? Are we gonna get a handheld version of Sword and Shield?
I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna downscale it or how that would even run, or if they would just do a smaller upgrade of whatever the last one was that was on there. You know, I don't know if I see them doing a Sword and Shield. Maybe they call it something else.
It's such a weird concept,
and not like how like there's Smash and Smash Ultimate or Smash U or Mario Wii U.
It's just a weird thing to wrap your head around that a Pokemon game is coming out and it's not going to be on a handheld. At least not yet. I mean, this could change tomorrow, right? A story could come out tomorrow and they go, oh yeah, the handheld comes out a month afterwards.
I mean, it's about time. I mean, they've been passing people and begging for it for a while. I'm still more perplexed at the fact that, I mean, I don't hate them for it, but I feel like it's really weird that like you can still sell two $60 games that are borderline the same with small differences.
The conversation.
Because like if Call of Duty or someone else were to do that, two $60 games come out at the same time and have slightly different features that the other one doesn't have, everyone would complain, oh, you're cutting it, let's cut content, why not just make one game? I don't know why they didn't just make one game, or just make they could have made two different games right now, one for the Switch and one for the DS.
That's the way I was kind of looking at it. Like, why didn't they do it kind of like the way they did
Sword is the Switch and DS is the Shield or something like that. I don't know. I mean, it's not like I hate them for it or anything like that, but it's just weird to think that they don't care. Even now, I'm not like really giving them any flack for it, but I would hate anyone else for doing something like that.
Yeah, what other company has the stones?
Because here's two games. You already hate companies for having pre-order DLC, which you're paying maybe $10. Some games might be $10 extra for, which is like a couple costumes or something like that, versus completely maybe different Pokemon, that might not be available at all through the game.
And that was the thing. Like, the big sell on them is like, oh, okay, we got to catch them all. You got to make sure you get all 150. And the difference between the two games is like
a few Pokemon. And maybe a certain scenario or two, but nothing crazy.
10 guys, so either find a friend to trade or go buy the second one.
Not enough to warrant 3 different games and then 2 there on after.
Yeah, it's a crazy one.
But I mean, when you have a license to print money, I guess why not? Exactly. They're going to ride that train until they do start catching flack for it.
That's a game I buy day one, regardless. Like, I don't care how many Pokemons I've played in the past, because I skipped the last one. I don't even know what the last one was called. XY? No, not XY. I played XY. What was the one where they went to like tropical islands?
Oh, like Alola?
Yeah, whatever the fuck that one was called.
So that wasn't Sun.
Was it Sun and Moon?
Maybe that was Sun and Moon.
Oh, there you go. There's one that differentiated for color. See, I completely forgot about Sun and Moon.
Emerald, Ruby, those are.
And it's but they're still, you can do an emerald as a color as a green.
Yeah, but I'm sure they meant it as a gem.
Oh, dude, I will gem them up. But the main thing was, it had the coolest concept out of all of them. Outside of being the same thing where I got to go.
Oh, I like the cool, like Alola's, like the
where Sandshrews and ice one, and like Executor instead of being like the big.
There's the big tropical tree with
a palm tree now, and actually, it was the coolest concept, and I didn't play it.
If you look at old art, like I think I have like a Pokemon binder that actually has Executor on it with the really long neck.
Does it really?
Yeah,
nice.
And It's based off art from like the 90s or whatever.
Oh, so it's kind of a concept they had from back in the day. They just finally implemented it.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe they just did that because it was on the Game Boy and it was just easier on that screen to make him like short and fat versus like.
So okay, so we got the new Pokemon game coming out, right? We saw the trailer. We saw the three guys, right? The new fire, the new grass, the new water. What have you always traditionally picked? A and B. Who do you plan on picking in the new one after just looks?
I usually always go fire for some reason.
Right. I think most guys do.
I think it based off of just the three that I've seen and the way they look now, I would have to go fire. But Pokemon's not really a spoiler game for me. I'm not dying to be kept hidden what they evolve into. Oh, I always look at the evolutions and then that's where I'll decide where to go.
I need to see what that rabbit turns into. Because if he turns into a big fucking hare, just like these big feet and just fire ears,
who knows? It would be something lame, like just like a Red Bugs bunny, where it's like that. That other thing could be like, I don't know, like a kraken or some weird squid or something. Who knows?
The water one, the green one, the grass ape looks pretty cool too. I think he's probably got a cool transformation. The water one
turns into Harambe.
Just God, R.I.P. Just kind of look. I don't know. Look lame to me. It looked kind of like this shy Tim, but he's probably gonna have the coolest form out of all of them.
Actually, I think before I mixed it up because I did go like the Cyndaquil, but then I also used Crocodile because then he turns into like for alligator.
Yeah.
Or Totodile. Crocodile. Yeah, for alligator.
Yeah. Fuck. I always played fire up until. I always played water my second go around. Like water was usually my second. Like I always thought fire.
I never use grass.
Yeah, grass is if I've beaten it on my fifth run, I'm like, all right, I'll bust them out and play.
A day drunk and I'm just trying to do something before.
Perfect car ride. But you know what's always bugged me is that I'm getting sick, and I've been sick of this repetitive nature that it needs to be fire, grass, water.
Oh, I think it'd be cool if they did like not just like a one-off, like how like well, I don't know what the elements are of these things. Like, I don't know if it, like, maybe it's, like, fire, electric, or that other one, like, is fighting and... Because it looks like a monkey, the grass one. So maybe it's, like, fighting.
And I'm sure I'll have a sub-day. I'm sure I'll have a subcategory.
But who knows how primary it could be. I don't know. Like
they need to do dark, ghost, like Pixie. Like, completely change it up. Get three new rotating stats. And make brand new guys. Like I
was kind of weird. Like electric's not like forefront. Like just come up with like an electric one. Or maybe, have a ghost. Where there's maybe that's guy. Just the easiest to balance, like right off the bat. Because
I'm sure there's a way they could tweak it. They've had X amount of years.
So, I mean, the one game where you start off with fucking Pikachu and yellow.
That was awesome. Like, one of my favorite. It's probably second favorite.
It's my second favorite, but I also don't miss getting smashed by Brock. And having to throw out like 4 Pidgeys as a sacrifice before a Pikachu comes
That's what happens when you do the first round, though. But you change it up in the second in a new mix, and you make the first guy a bird gym. Now he's the coolest fucking guy that there is. So.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a way that they could do it. Maybe it's again the same reason they just do 2 games just because they can, and no one's going to talk shit about it.
So is this a game? I know you said Link's Awakening is going to be. Hard buy. This is the game that you would it pull you out of the hesitant wait on getting a Switch. If let's say Link's Awakening comes out a year after Pokemon, would Pokemon be a game that gets you into buying it?
Yeah, no, I think I definitely.
And which would you buy, Sword or Shield?
I don't see the box art, but I'd probably say Sword.
Yeah, I think Sword looks the coolest.
Well, I mean, it depends on which one's got the exclusive Pokemon that I can't get from the other one, and
I'd like to see that lineup. I'd like to see what's going on and what the big differences are. And that was one thing I don't remember. I didn't play Sun or Moon, but I think Gino was saying they didn't do gyms in that one either. It was I forget what it was. Like you had to beat up the island bully or something and get a rock or something.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, I think maybe he was telling me about that too. Yeah, you don't. Yeah,
so
it's not
I was
like
okay,
gym.
I'm glad I passed on
You
this
just
one.
like beat someone and then you get like I don't know. Maybe it's like what's that Pokemon movie, Pokemon 2000, where you get like the stones.
Maybe,
and
I'm sure, but I heard or from reading, it's going to be badges are back. So I'm glad that there's an actual badge. I like buttoning up and putting my badges on. So.
Well, maybe they can go something different. You just collect like the skull of like your opponent or something like that.
Everyone you beat is a skull, Cubone skull.
You take one of their Pokemon when you beat them.
Oh, Pidgeybeaks. See, and that's the other thing. What do you do with this new one? Because since the original 150 red and blue, and since gold and silver, right? Every game, if I'm not mistaken, every game after that has had a new lineup, but has integrated the old ones in, right? So there's never, I don't think any of the new ones since then had an exclusive 150. I'll tell you how you do it.
You put like 500 Pokemon in one
game.
Dude,
give me 1,000. Give me 1,500.
Yeah,
and the difference between the two is there's only three different. The legendaries, and then that'll make me spend another $60.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Who knows?
I want them all.
They'll put that like fucking melted ice cream Pokemon in that like stupid garbage can in there. Yeah. There's like one that's a fucking chandelier that like drags you to hell or something.
Oh god, and they just call it Jason.
Yes, good.
All right, guys. So what would you guys pick? Right, pick your poison. Is it going to be the fire? Is it the water? Is it the grass? Put it in there. Is it weird that they're so far haven't announced a handheld version of this game? That it's so far only on a console? I found it a little peculiar, but I'm sure Nintendo knows what it's doing. I'm sure Game Freak knows what it's doing.
I'm sure someone who has a lot more money than you do.
Some guy that cashed in on Pokemon cards in the late 90s knows what he's doing. So those are all the bullet points, Andrew. So at this point, you want to riff?
Oh, well, we can riff.
Is it time to riff?
We can riff.
Let's riff a little bit. So, notes aside, what's going on in the gaming ecosphere, world, universe?
Not in the know. Riff, just
that you want to talk about.
It's just spitballing. Just stuff that's maybe not the biggest story.
What's Andrew thinking about?
I want to bring attention to the fact that Final Fantasy IX came out on the Xbox and the Switch and still has that damn bug to where the music...
Yes,
fucking doesn't play all the way through. So Final Fantasy,
such an odd thing to not have
a game that's known for its musical tracks. Like always, I play them all the time at work. For whatever reason, and I'm pretty sure it's the same on the PS4. And they haven't fixed it. I want to say Final Fantasy X had this bug, and they fixed it, and 7 had the bug, and they fixed it on PS4.
I like how that's just a phrase. They had the bug.
You got the bug.
This is the bug.
And so you run anytime you run. So. Let's say it's a 4-minute set piece of music that you should probably hear front to back, walking from one end of an area to another.
Fantasy is known to have good orchestra type.
Yeah, their music's
big music pieces.
Phenomenal. So every time you start a fight with somebody, which if you played a Final Fantasy,
is often
just going from
quite often
point A to point B, you're gonna run into like 5 fights, 6 fights. Who knows? If you're walking across a giant world map, like if I remember correctly, Final Fantasy IX had that really big one where you're just walking all over the place and everything. So you're going to run into somebody like every 10, 15 seconds. So you're going to hear 10, 15 seconds of music, fight somebody. Then when it goes back to the world, the music should start right where it left off so you can hear the whole track.
Yeah,
and it restarts from the beginning.
What an odd thing to not be able to correct.
I don't understand it, and I don't know why all these games had the same issue, and they only fixed those other 2, and it's mind-blowing that I'm sure they had to have known about it, and they were just like, fuck it, like, just
is that the same problem the PS4 had?
Yeah.
Because you can get the PS4
and that came out
a while ago.
A year ago, at least.
So
and
Xbox
it's
is
still
just
an issue,
and it's still a problem.
And you haven't fixed it on any of the consoles. And it's music is one of the biggest parts of the game, and I'm now gonna have to. That's part of the reason why I haven't bought 9 yet, is I'm hoping that they'll fix it.
I bought the shit.
But they know a sorry bastard like me is gonna wait it out as long as they can, and then I'm gonna buy it whether or not they fix it.
It's gonna drop $5.
But I'm gonna have to hear 10 to 15 seconds of the same fucking musical piece over and over and over and over again. Who knows? Maybe I'll make it a text tone if I want to hear it so damn much.
Is that enough to drive you maddening?
Mind-blowing.
Oh. So 9 just dropped, right? That was what, a week or so ago? 2 weeks ago, maybe?
Like that,
7 just dropped, right?
No, 7 comes out in March.
Oh, no, it's a pre-order. It's a pre-order you can do. 9,
it's like 26.
Or 10 and 12 are pre-orders. So what is it? Why are we getting this big Final Fantasy renaissance out of nowhere? Like, at least it seems out of nowhere.
There had to have been some deal. There had to have been some deal with Sony, like, hey, or who knows? Maybe I doubt they needed that much time to prep it from PS4 to Xbox, but maybe there's some deal to where, okay, well, I'm sure Sony had some behind the door closed deals, like, right, whatever, because they had that thing not too long ago where like Square Enix bought most of their shares because PS4 I think sold them or something like that. So maybe that was a final part of the deal for maybe what they own or something they had proposed, like, hey, whatever, just wait a year, 2 years, I don't know, before putting it on another console.
Yeah, because every time I'm looking
so I
at
want to say 10 and 12 came out. I don't think last year, maybe the year before that.
I have a 10 and 10-2 remastered one. 12 came out on the PS4 but with the Zodiac, right?
Yeah.
And now
Zodiac
Xbox
Age.
is now getting them and Switch. And now the 9's dropping and now 7's dropping. It's like, how many Final Fantasies can I buy? And, you know, these aren't 20-hour games. You know, these are 50, 60, you know, potentially 70-hour games that are just cross-platform.
70 hours of game with like fucking 10 minutes of music if you only hear the first 10 seconds of it.
So, with that being said, because I've been we're more Xbox players, right? But I have a PS4, and I was gonna buy FF9
I held
until
out,
I knew it was coming on Xbox.
And I called their bluff 10 years later.
Yeah, they got the last laugh on that one.
Yeah.
But have you? So you haven't bought it yet, right?
No, I'm gonna wait and hopefully they fix it. If they have not fixed it by now on PS4, I doubt they're gonna play it. But hopefully it gets enough attention. If anyone actually watches this, go write Square Enix and talk shit to them for this.
Yeah, hashtag give us music.
Hashtag
give us music or give us death.
Fix the music or
do now, because I know when you play these now, you can get those kind of speed up bonuses. Or
those boosters. That's how I plan on running through it. You know,
you're not gonna play it traditionally, front to back.
I'm not gonna skip the battles, but no, I've got there's a million different games that I just want to enjoy the story.
You know,
like I've beaten.
I'm looking to go back and just play a game.
7 through.
Give me my time.
12, except for 11. I've beaten them all. The 7, 8, 9. I've beaten them all once. 10 I've beaten like 4 times. 12 I've only beaten 1 time. But I spent a lot. I did a lot of like the end game stuff on that one. I went all out for. And so these other ones, I know the story, and it's, you know, I don't have time to sit there and grind it. And
why not? Why not just take a good week of gaming, right? Take off everything else. Don't play PUBG. Don't play Apex Legends. Don't play Anthem. And just knock out FF9.
If you can't take the time to fix the fucking first 10 seconds of the music, then I can't take the time to sit there and play 70 hours on your game. I'm sorry.
Oh, man. But, okay, so 7, 8, 9. Well, no, because 8's not out there. 7, 9, 10, 12. Who's your favorite character in order? From 1 to 4.
Out of all the games?
Out of those 4. Out of 7, 10... Yeah, 7, 10, 12, 9. How you ranking them? Actually, no. Don't give me character. Give me game. Which rank the game?
Oh, okay, yeah. I was gonna say characters a little.
Because I'm looking at all the characters. I got all the characters lined up right there.
Let's
and I'm like, Cloud beats the shit out of all of them. But
10, 7, 12, 9.
You put 10 over 12?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Because 12, the only character I really care about is Fran because she's bae.
Dude, Fran is the stuff of
everyone else. I mean, there's cool people in there and stuff like that, but I love 10 a lot more. Like 10 for me was like a game that just came out at the right time. I think I was like 10 years old when that game came out.
No way.
So that was a game that like really made me realize like what, like I'd played games before that, but that was a game I really felt like had my like awakening on like this is what games are, this is what they're meant to be. Like really made me kind of feel something.
That's the first curveball like Final Fantasy threw at us outside of, from their traditional stuff when they finally went like down a linear path and the way they kind of circle out the party. It's so weird that that's the one that is the one that
game just hit me in like every white way, and I love that game.
Yeah, I think I'd go 7 is the all time, so it's unfair, it's biased. But I think I'd put 12 over 10 and then 9. But maybe when I play 9, something sparks in me and goes, oh yeah.
Yeah,
I forgot how, because I remember like Steiner and all those guys in there, and they were just awesome characters. But
yeah, I remember them being really cool.
Because remember it went from like 7, the way it looked with like the polygons and all that stuff, and then it went to 8. It kind of went into this more, I don't know how to describe it, more I guess realistic looking. Right, in terms of scale, body scale. And then it went back to 9, which was like, okay, this is
more like fantasy than reality.
And so maybe 9 triggers something in me. I don't know.
I never know.
What do you think?
I don't know. I felt like 10 has the advantage for me too, because that was one of the first ones I played because I didn't play the others. I think I'd played a little bit of 7, but I played those games after I'd beaten 10. And
okay.
Because I remember too, I'd rented 8 like when Blockbuster was still around when the game came out. But wherever I got it from, it was like the last disc there fucked it up. And so like I literally couldn't make it through like the first video. Like I had to try like 10 times and then it just kept skipping every other thing. So 10 was like the first one that I got and just did it all the way through. And that's when there's actually like
cuts. PS2 could run it.
Yeah, there's cutscenes, voice acting. The music's like grander and over the top. I felt like it really was.
10's a solid choice.
I think realistically, out of all of them, I would say maybe 12's maybe better. So out of all of them, from what I remember, I would say 10 maybe has the best intro. And I'm not talking like...
Oh, no, 10's intro
I'm not talking like the overall
stellar.
like first hour of the game, but if we're getting into this game
We're talking when he knocks him the fuck out of Blitzball, and you get Titus, and he just kind of gives you the...
that's bad. Yeah, we're not even talking like that part. I would say the first few minutes of the game, I would say is 10. Like, 7 is cool. Like, you get off the train, you start fighting and stuff.
Yeah.
But I like 10 starts with that monologue. He's like, this might be our last chance. Let me tell you our story. It's got that somber music, and you just see everyone's weapons dug into the dirt.
Oh, dude.
Like
and
that.
You got Ornn in 10.
Oh, I love
Let me ask you this though. So we're getting all these games kind of coming back out, right? We're in this Final Fantasy Renaissance kind of thing. Even though PS4 had them, it's hitting all the platforms. When do we start seeing like 6 and maybe 1 or things like that? Do those games get a remake or at least a port to these?
I know
systems?
6 had like a remake port style thing for like the DS. And I
don't
know.
I'm talking about right now, like with Xbox and
I don't
Switch,
know if I'd even
right, because I know they're on other systems.
I don't know if I'd even go back and play them.
Dude, 6 is awesome.
I
think you'd love it.
Maybe I'm not gonna go back and play 1 or 2.
Even if it had the boost and all the cruises, you can jump on and skip bosses and go to level 99 and beat it in your sleep.
I don't know.
All right. Well, what else was you riffing on?
I don't know what you riff. Give me a riff.
So Andrew, who's a big fighting game kind of guy, showed me the new trailer for...
Oh, that Mortal Kombat trailer that just came out.
God, that trailer looked awesome. I've seen a lot of the trailers that are kind of just the kind of showing off the gameplay and like the battle system and all that stuff, and a lot of the demos they did. But this one actually shows this. I don't know if they even had a title for the trailer, but it shows the storyline, and I thought it's like, I don't want to call it cheesy, maybe campy that it looked. I thought it was like,
but I like that it embraces it.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Like, that's what I love more and more about this game, is that it's just like becomes so like meta.
Yeah,
like the fact that it acknowledges what it is, and then it's just taking the ball and just running with it anyways. That's what I love. Is I don't want it to be something else. I want it to be what it is.
Yeah,
I know it's
definitely.
like over the top campy.
It's just let's
Johnny Cage's fatality where
and grab these guys and pull them back in. So now this guy has 3-minute dialogue with his other version of himself, but the lines are classic. And Johnny Cage was that fatality.
I love that fatality too. That where it's got to do the take and then the head doesn't come off. And
Where'd you get this guy?
Yeah.
Take one. Oh man, it was perfect. Because I'm not a bit. I don't have. It's not a genre that I love.
The story of Mortal Kombat,
but you,
so I'm really excited.
You pulled me back into Mortal Kombat. It's like, for a while, I haven't played a Mortal Kombat in forever. Then you pulled me into X, and it got me into
I'll tell you right
Mortal
now,
Kombat versus
that game
Injustice.
is absolutely beautiful, though.
Yeah, it looked good. All the scenes looked fantastic.
Yeah, like they have crazy good facial animations, and they did the same thing for like Injustice 2. Like Injustice had amazing facial animations.
Injustice, yeah.
So
that was
it
really
seems like 9, I think, was like it's kind of an ugly game, but I liked it. It's the story's great, but 10 is where because even Injustice I think is an ugly game, but then 10, Injustice 2, and now this, it like they just like took their animations to the next level and just like put like, where did it come from? Like, it's crazy how much better like each of them look.
I'm curious of what they could do better if they were to wait, and I don't think they need to, because they'll make another one. They're almost every other year now. But if they were to wait to the next gen, like, I'm curious what that is going to look like. Right? How much better looking can you get? Is Mortal Kombat a day one buy?
Yeah, I already paid it off.
Did you really?
Yeah.
You little sneaky shit.
No, that's a game that's always going to be a day one for me. I just love the story. I know the story's all over the place, and it's, like, crazy and whatever, but I personally love it. I love the lore of Mortal Kombat. I think it's absolutely great.
I know you do. So let's move into, we're running a little long, so let's kind of start wrapping it up. But Andrew, what have you just beaten? What are you currently playing? What are you looking forward to?
Just beat Resident Evil 2.
Oh, yep. Yeah, you did.
And we'll get into the highs and lows.
Ooh.
Loved it. That game was a day one buy, and I recommend that game to like anybody out there. Resident Evil 2 was phenomenal. It's already like if I had to choose Game of the Year now, that's it. But I haven't played much else, so who knows? We'll see how much anything else
He's
goes.
calling Game of the Year.
Playing Kingdom Hearts right now, and I'm kind of like lukewarm on it. Like, I don't know, it just doesn't click with me. Some of the stuff's a little weird. Like,
how far into it are you?
Not very far. I'm on like the third world, but it just bugs me. Like, spoilers. Like, Hercules World, I don't felt was like good at all. The bosses were good. The ending bosses were cool, but that's really about it. And of course, James Woods is Hades, but he was so much better than everyone else that it just made it bad. And then you have people like Phil showing up, not saying a damn word. Twilight Town sucked. I hated it. It was stupid. And then I really liked Corona, even though I was trying to get to the Toy Story World.
Oh yeah, you were saying that you were gummy shipping.
Yeah, I was trying to go to Toy Story, and I ended up going the complete wrong direction. Ended up in Corona, which is Tangled's world. And I've only seen that movie like kind of towards the back end of it, maybe like one time, and I would say that's like half a time, a fourth of a time. And I thought it was cool. It's a cool concept, but I absolutely loved it. That's been my favorite world so far out of them. And now I'm kind of bummed that I don't think anything else is going to be as good. Who knows? It might get there.
No, let me think. I can say that I think you'll like Pirates.
Spoilers, no.
You saw it's in every trailer. Yeah. I think when you get the Pirates, that's probably the most fulfilling world.
I think looking forward to. I'm gonna jump in the Division 2. Mortal Kombat's next month. More immediately that I think I'm gonna sink a lot of time into is that Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. The new game from Miyazaki, the people who do like Dark Souls and stuff like that. And I absolutely love Dark Souls. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Like, I love Dark Souls. I'm not hoping for something the same, but I just love like his creativeness and like the direction he took the series that I really want to see, what this next game is going to be like. Yeah. Like, I've got nothing but faith in him in this game.
Everything looks good on that
game. I haven't really watched anything about it. I just kind of have seen the aesthetic, and I'm just buying it day one, just on a blind whim.
You get a pre-order?
Yeah, I usually I don't pre-order like they're gonna run out or anything like that. If anything, usually
it's GameStop, bro.
I just put money on it at a time, so I'm not just like, all right, here's $70, like, so I don't feel like a piece of shit for I could be doing this or that, but I'm just gonna go buy this game.
Nice. And when does that drop? When does Sekiro drop?
March 22nd.
Damn, that's coming up.
Yeah. There's a lot of things coming up right now that I've got a long list of stuff.
The day after the first day of spring. If you're curious. What have I been playing?
What about yourself?
So Kingdom Hearts I beat the first week, so that's a little behind me, but I'm with you though. I mean, there's pros and cons, and I won't get into it. I think Pirates you'll like. Corona was awesome. I actually just wrapped up Dishonored on the I don't know, I think it's called the Definitive Edition, Dishonored 1. And I just finished Far Cry 3 in the same week. Far Cry 3, the remake version of it is.
Okay.
Because it's not definitive. It's like the collector's edition or something like that.
Yeah, it's got a weird name.
And those are both my first entries into those. Obviously, Dishonored 1. I didn't play number 2 first, but
I've never played either of them. So.
I think you'd like it. Playing it felt a little dated. Like, even though it was the definitive edition. Or maybe that's the style they were going for. But when you look at the graphics, like, something about their faces just was off-putting to me. Game's good, though. I played it on... Because you can play it... you can play it where you're coming in, gun swinging, sword swinging, and fighting. Or you can do it all silent, stealth assassin. And that's the way I played it. I didn't upgrade any of my powers. I didn't upgrade anything. And when I talked to Denny about it, he's like, how did you not do it? Like, it's like half the fun is playing with all the powers. I'm like, dude, I wanted to go stealth. I wanted to play... I
love going stealth.
Yeah, I wanted to choke people out, hide them, not get caught. I didn't upgrade anything.
If I had a choice to go stealth, unless like it's something that I'm like, I'm just playing just to play, like I will go stealth.
Yeah,
and just running through.
Yeah, so that's what I did, and that was a lot of fun. And Far Cry 3, first entry into that series, and that was a lot of fun. I actually I enjoyed Far Cry 3 more than I thought I was going to. It was just a good, relaxing game. I sat down and I was able to just knock it out, listen to my podcast, and watch movies and stuff. And then when I'm playing, which I don't think you're going to like, I don't think anyone's going to like, it's a game that Gino turned me on to because he had it downloaded. I wanted a break just from, like, a big game. I just wanted something small to play while I was just kind of relaxing. And the 360 version of Brave is on my game list. And Brave is...
Isn't it Brave with, what's-her-face, the redheaded chick?
Is that, and I Gino kept telling me, he's like, dude, just play it. Like, you'll like it.
Is it
Trust
good?
me. It is surprisingly,
I downloaded
surprisingly great. For me, I think
unlike Anthem, if it's fire, recommend it now, and I will play it because I have it downloaded.
It's good, man. I'm having it's a good for what it's a platformer game where she can level up her abilities. Like I've never seen the movie, so I don't know what it's based on. I get the general concept. I think Tangled, yeah, loved it, loved Tangled. But Brave, man, it's a good game, man, and It's simple. It's door to door. You got to level. I feel
like such an asshole because after I beat Corona, I had to go like look up Tangled.
Oh man,
the movie came out in like 2011. I'm just now like, oh.
Oh man, that's like one of Lane's favorites. She's never seen it, and I showed it to her.
Oh, dude, I'm in love. I'm in love with it just off of that. That I want to see. I want to watch the movie so bad now.
I'll watch it with you. Let's set that up on maybe Saturday or something. It's a good movie, man. But Brave, and I've got 2 doors left, and I got to beat that. But I'm currently playing so. I have this list, and if anybody's ever interested in trying it, there's another video on this channel called the Video Game Power Hour. Essentially what that is it's a game where you watch a clip, and you take a shot of beer, you keep going, but this one's to all video game scenes. So there's 60 games on it, and my goal is to beat every game on it, and I'm almost done with it. Dishonored was one of them, Far Cry 3 was another one of them, but Grand Theft Auto 5 is another one. It's a game I got far on 360. It's a game I got far on Xbox One, but I never completed it.
I feel like you can cruise to Grand Theft Auto easy.
Dude, so it's so refreshing to play. Like I think it still holds up. Like even now, like I was playing it the other day, and I just jumped in my car, cruised, shot some people up, did some scenes.
I like cruising. You know, it's kind of like she had played games, but she had never really played that one. But Christina, I would let her, like, she would want to drive from, like, point to point and just, like, take me to
man, it was so, it's just awesome because the last 2 games I picked up, Brave and GTA 5, were both just completely different. We're both just relaxing, like, calm. I mean, until you do big, heavy stake missions. It just...
Is that your high, taking a break and...
No, my high... If we're getting the highs and lows of the week of gaming, highs was knocking out 2 games off the list, off the Power Hour list.
That's a big list, yes.
And then GTA 5, so that's kind of coming in. My low was me and Gino we were online together. We're like, oh, let's play a game. What do we got that we can play together? And I forget what the name of the collection is actually called. I don't know if it's a Sega collection or an actual Streets of Rage collection. But we're like, oh, let's play Streets of Rage 1 or 2. So we started playing it, and, you know, the nostalgia's coming back, right? The characters are coming back. Like, oh, dude.
The game sucks?
No, the game's awesome. And I have it on Sega. We'll play it right now. It's awesome. But it's a 360 version of it. So, right? So when you go into it, it loads you back to the dashboard of 360, right? And you got to play it like that.
Right, and do all that shit.
The connection... When I could see his was low, and when he could see mine was low, but I know our connection's not low.
Right.
So when we start playing it, it's just lag. Like, you can't... It's just go, kick, punch, and I'm like...
That's probably just the game
itself.
Yeah,
so we exit out of it. We tried playing number 2. Same thing. We backed out. We tried playing number 3. Same thing.
Did you look it up and see if maybe it's just a problem with the collection?
No, I didn't care enough about it. I'm like, I have it on Sega. If you want to come over, we'll play it on... We'll play the actual game, and I'll pull out the controller, which is the way I'd rather play it. So that was kind of a low, though. I was just like, dude, I was waiting to play this game, and it was all the feel-goods were coming back, and then it was just kind of a letdown. So those are my highs and lows of the week. What about you?
Low. It hasn't really been anything bad. I guess I would say the low would maybe be like, I was really hyped for like not hyped for Kingdom Hearts, but I was like, all right, cool.
Don't tell me that's your low. It let you down that bad?
I'm just like, well, until I hit Corona, but I mean, just that beginning, I was just like, man, this is such a slog. Like, what's going on? Like, do I even care at this point? Like, it was just all these names, all these people, and everything, and I felt like it was just so all over the place that I was just like, I don't care. And, you know, Christian said the same thing too. Like, he was like, you know, that game was just too much for me.
Oh, it's stop and go.
I just don't care. Like, and I don't mind long cutscenes. Like, I love Metal Gear. I love sitting there. But when it's just a long cutscene of just, like, nothing, and I feel like people just rambling on like this.
Oh man, I watched every one of them. Now. I know a lot of people hated it, but I watched every one, and I think Gino skipped every one.
Gino skipped every one of them. Yeah, he told me he skipped every one of them. I'm watching them and I'm going through it, but I kind of just feel like it's a slog, and it's kind of put a damper on me. Who knows? It might be better though, because after I did Corona, that kind of really reinvigorated me. Because after I just did the first 2 worlds, I hated them because I felt like the voicing was like off, and I felt like is so you were talking to someone, like, ask me a question, right? Like, ask me a question.
How you doing today, Andrew?
Fine. Like, I felt like there was that long of a delay between some of the people talking. Like, I was just like, oh my god, dude, what is going on for a game that's supposed to be this high quality?
Bad cartoon.
Yeah, and I don't mind the campiness. I don't mind the like, whoa, I'm goofy, and like stuff like that. Like, I don't mind any of that. It's not that. But when it takes like, someone says something like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you," and it takes like 2 hours to like react to the dialogue. I'm being dramatic now, but like it just totally threw me off. Like that, I was just like, I don't know. Like I said, Corona was great. That one was fine. So maybe it's just the beginning. Maybe the rest of the worlds will be fine. But Corona was great. My high would be 100% in Resident Evil 2.
Ooh.
Just going through, get all the achievements, and just...
That's impressive, sir.
Even towards the end, so like I'm playing it, and I'm doing my final run is Claire, and all I have to do is just get a couple collectibles, and then I can move on to like the harder DLC stuff. I sent you a clip. I don't know if you watched it or not.
No, yeah.
Yeah, did you see that shit show that was at the end where there's like all the zombies and stuff like that?
I can't. I'm not recalling it exactly.
We'll talk about it
because all your snaps that you sent with Resident Evil, I remember watching them
No,
all.
I sent it to you on Xbox.
Oh, no, I haven't seen that though.
Oh, no,
I'm just talking about your Snapchat.
No, check your messages because the Force Survivor...
Goodie box.
Yeah. Anyways, before that, so I'm doing Claire's thing, and it's not a high because I'm done. It's a high because I truly love the game. That game was phenomenal. Like, I'm going through, I just have to get these collectibles. Mr. X is chasing me through the building, and I lose him, and then he finds me again. He's upstairs, I'm running, I go downstairs. So, like, I'm looking at my map, and I'm just, like, kind of thinking in my head, like, okay, where do I need to go, whatever, and I'm looking, I have a printed list of where the items are that I'm missing, because it's just, like, documents and stuff at this point, and I hear his footsteps, and I could have swore to God he was upstairs. So I'm like, all right, cool, whatever, I gotta go back this way, because this is the direction I'm going, like, this is my, like, 4th or 5th playthrough now that I know where everything is. I don't know where the little, maybe a fucking sticky note on the wall is or something like that. So I go to run through the door right downstairs where I am, and he's fucking standing right there and throws the biggest right hook, and it scared the shit out of me. Like, it made my heart jump. Like, it scared me. So even though it was on, like, easy difficulty, because I'm just going through and collecting stuff at this point, and I put him down with, like, a few shots of my gun and then just kept running, like, it scared the hell, because I could have swore he was upstairs, and I was not ready for him to be right there in that room. It scared me. So, like, I jumped.
Dude, he'll give you a heart attack.
I almost dropped my controller, too. Like, I literally got that scared that he was right there. And it was just crazy. Like, a game that I put 30 hours, however many hours in, at least, like, definitely more than 20, at least, like, 30 hours in, that I'd beaten 5 times, and I could still get, like, that scared from something like that.
I'm glad, yeah.
It was a good feeling.
It's a nice raw emotion. Nice. Well, Andrew, I think that's all we have for today's episode.
Okay.
So, guys, you like the show, you want to see more of the show, guys, jump in the comments, let us know what you think. Like, subscribe if you want. The main thing is, guys, we're putting this on just to have fun, just to, some regular gamers talking about news that's coming up and the gaming tales of our lives. So, until next time, guys, I'm Craig Perales. This is Andrew Montsmayer. Cheers. God, I hope this one saves Andrew.
Yeah, me too. Oh, coming back.